Welcome to Meeple Mentor. I'm Jared and we're about to play Grand Austria Hotel. Let's take a look. I'll show you how. As I go over everything, feel free to pause the video as needed to follow along with your copy of the game. Make sure to like and subscribe below the video so you don't miss any of my latest content. Also, I'll be using upgraded tokens in my copy of the game. Grand Austria Hotel takes place in Vienna at the beginning of the 20th century. The emperor ruled over Europe. Vienna was a major center, populated by artists, politicians, nobles, locals, and tourists. Players will try their best at running a new hotel at this time, while serving the guests the food and drink of their choice. Players must serve the customers and keep their hotel full, while not forgetting to pay their respects to the emperor. Will your startup hostel become the Grand Austria Hotel? It's up to you. Lay out the game board and action board in the center of the table. Place the dustbin token with the victory point markers next to the action board. Place the round marker disc on round 1 of the game board. Create supply piles of the 4 types of food and drink. You'll have coffee, cake, wine, and strudel. Sort the room tiles by color and create supply pools near the board. Shuffle all the guest cards and place them face down near the main board. Then draw 5 cards and place them face up in the 5 guest spaces. Sort the politics cards by letter and shuffle the stack separately. Draw 1 card from each stack and place them face up in the matching spaces on the game board. The rest can return to the box. Alternatively, you may choose which cards will be in play. Likewise, shuffle the Emperor tiles with their matching letters and pull 1 random A, B, and C tile. Place them in the corresponding spaces on the game board face up. You can also play by choosing which tiles you want in the game instead of randomizing it. The 14 dice should be placed on the action board. If you're playing with 3 players, remove 2. With 2 players, remove 4. Any removed dice will go back to the box. These are turn order tiles. Find the ones that have the player count you need, as printed on the backs. The icons will show different player counts. The rest won't be used. Randomize the first player and give them the turn 1 token. Give the next player clockwise the turn 2 token, and so on. The rules offer a recommended introductory variant for using the staff cards. The cards show a small letter in the bottom left. Sort them out into different decks for each letter. Give set A to the first player, set B to the second, and so on. Shuffle the remaining staff cards to create a draw pile, which can sit near the boards. If you don't want to bother with the introductory game, just shuffle all the staff cards and deal 6 cards to each player. These are your personal cards to be kept hidden from other players. After your first game, I recommend using the drafting variant here. From the 6 cards you're dealt, choose 1 to keep and pass the rest to the player on your left. Do this until everyone has taken 6 cards. Give each player an overview card and their own hotel board. Everyone should collectively decide which side of the boards to use, day or night, and follow suit. The nighttime side is recommended for your first game. The daylight side offers variability for each player. Each player should choose a color to be and take the 6 wooden discs with their color. There's orange, blue, purple, and gray. Each player places one of their discs on the 0 space of the Emperor track and another one on 0 of the Victory Point track. One of your discs will keep track of your money. Everyone starts at 10 krones, so place a disc over the number 10 on your money track. The other 3 discs can sit next to your board for later. Each player starts with 1 of each kind of food and drink token. These should sit in the kitchen area of your hotel board. Now everyone will have the opportunity to gain a guest for free. Starting with the last player and going counterclockwise, everyone will choose from the available guests on the game board. After taking a guest card, slide the rest to the right and add a new one to the board. That way everyone will always have 5 to choose from when it's their turn. The guests will sit below your hotel board at one of the 3 cafe tables. Only 1 guest per table. In addition to starting with a guest in their cafe, players may now prepare up to 3 hotel rooms on their board. You have to start with the room in the lower left corner. Any room tiles placed after that must be adjacent to a placed room tile. Diagonals are not adjacent. The tiles are placed with the room service person standing in front of the door, and the tile color must match the door color. You must pay the cost of preparing each room. The cost is based on the floor the room's located in. The first floor is free, the second is 1 krone each, the third is 2 krones, and the fourth top floor is 3 krones. Move your money disc down to track money spent. And with that, you're set up to play. The game takes place over 7 rounds. Special Emperor track scoring will happen at the end of rounds 3, 5, and 7. Each round begins with the start player rolling all the dice. Then the dice get sorted into their numbered action spaces. On each player's turn in the round, you first have the option to take a guest from the game board, paying the cost for it shown above its location. Then you must take a die from the action board and do its associated action. There are a number of free actions available as well. When done with your turn, place the die used on your turn token. Player turns continue in numerical order as shown on the turn tokens players have in front of them. When taking a guest, you must have an open cafe table available. If they're full, you can't take any more guests. The only way to get rid of them is to fulfill their order and give them a room matching their color. The color of the tablecloth is the room they can occupy. Green tablecloths can occupy any room color. The colors of the guests' tablecloths indicate what type of guest they represent in Vienna. Nobles are blue, artists are yellow, citizens are red, and tourists are green. Whenever the guest is scored, they'll earn you victory points, as shown in the upper right corner, as well as a reward in the tablecloth area. Many of the rewards are self-explanatory, but there's a good overview of the symbols used, found on the rulebook on page 16. Instead of taking their turn, players may choose to pass. Doing so may be the best option to try to get better options on a new dice roll. Once everyone's either taken both of their turns or passed, the turn goes back to who first passed. Turns will continue in numerical order from those who passed. At this point, remove 1 die from the available dice pool and place it on the dustbin. Then roll all of the available dice again and sort them into their new columns. After rolling, they may choose to take a turn or pass again. Once all players have again taken their turns or passed, this process happens again. 1 more die is removed and the rest re-rolled. As I said, the Emperor track scores at the end of rounds 3, 5, and 7. The Emperor track is the center of the game board. First, players score the points shown underneath the location of their color disc on the track. Points are always tracked around the outer victory point track. After scoring the discs, they are moved back a number of spaces equal to the round number. So the first time the Emperor track scores, each disc moves back 3 spaces, then 5, then 7. If your disc ended up in the gold area of the track, you gain the bonus from the Emperor tile for the round. If your disc ended up back at 0 in the black, you must suffer the penalty shown. If in the neutral white space is 1 or 2, nothing happens to you. The top golden area of an Emperor tile is the bonus area. The bottom half is the penalty. Sometimes penalties give a choice, such as to lose money or victory points. For a full list of the bonuses and penalties found on all the tiles, check the rulebook on pages 11 and 12. At the end of every round, staff cards used can turn face up again. Then the turn order tiles get passed clockwise. The round marker moves forward 1 space, and then the start player can take all the dice and roll them again for the start of the round. Next, let's take a look at the actions possible from the actions board. As long as an action space has at least 1 die in it, you may take the action. The number of dice in the action space determines the strength of the action. After taking your action, remove a die from the action area and place it on the lowest number shown on your turn order tile. The first 2 action spaces are how you gain food and drink items to serve your guests. Anytime in the game you gain food and drink items, you can immediately place them on guests in your cafe if they ordered it. Any extras must be placed in the kitchen area of your hotel board. The first action area lets you take strudel and cake. To do this, first count how many dice are there. That's the number of items you can take. You must take the same or more strudel than cake. So if there are 3 dice present, you can take 2 strudels and 1 cake, or 3 strudels. The tan-colored cube references strudel and the white cube refers to cake. The second action space works just like the first. However, it's based on how many number 2 dice were rolled. With this action, you can take wine and coffee. The red cube is wine and the black cube is coffee. You must take the same or more wine than coffee. So if 5 dice are present, you could take 3 wine and 2 coffee, 4 wine and 1 coffee, or 5 wine. The third action space lets you prepare rooms on your personal hotel board. For each die in the action space area, you may prepare a room. Remember that you must expand outward from existing rooms, only placing new ones adjacent orthogonally, not diagonally. Place the matching color room tile on the space you're adding to with the front of the room shown. Then pay the dollar cost based on the row it's built in. The first row is free, and going up adds $1 each floor. Track your spent money with your disc on the money track. Anytime you place a hotel tile on the upper right room spaces showing victory points, you immediately score them. The next action is for dice showing a 4. You can gain advancements on the Emperor track or earn money on your money track. You can split the total between the two. Since the Emperor track scores 3 times, make sure to move up enough on the track so you don't get penalized by being moved back to the 0 space. The 5-facing dice action space is to play a staff card from your hand. With this action, you may only play 1 staff card. The amount of dice in the space simply reduces your cost to play the card. All the staff card's costs to play are shown in the upper right. You may end up paying nothing for the card, but you can never gain money for having a bigger discount. The last action space uses the 6s rolled. This action is a catch-all for actions 1 through 5. However, you must pay 1 krone to take the action. Take the action of 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 based on the action strength of the 6s, not on how many dice are in the chosen number space. During your turn, there are free actions you're allowed to take in addition to pulling 1 guest to your cafe and doing a dice action. Look at the player reference cards for all of them. As you take a die to take the associated action, you may always have the option to spend 1 krone to increase the total strength of the action taken. You're limited to 1 extra krone only. The rest of these free actions can be done as many times as you want. For the extra goods collected in your kitchen, you may, as a free action, spend 1 krone to move up to 3 goods to guests in your cafe that require them. You may complete a guest card if they have the food and drinks they ordered on their card. You must have an open room in your hotel matching the guest color. The green guests can be placed in any color open room. Return the goods back to the general supply and flip over the hotel room tile to show it's now occupied. Immediately earn the victory point shown on the guest card in the upper right. Then, if there are bonuses shown on the tablecloth, you may take those bonuses now or forfeit them. A list of the bonuses on these guest cards are found in the rulebook on page 16. Then discard the guest card to a guest discard pile. This is the only way to remove guests from your cafe. Otherwise, they're blocking your 3 available tables. When turning over the last hotel tile of a colored group, you immediately receive the occupancy bonus. Look for grouped colors of rooms on your board. The group could be a single room. Based on the color and size of the group, you'll earn different rewards. The top of your hotel board shows the rewards for each. So completing a full occupied group of yellow rooms earns you advancements on the Emperor track. If the group had 2 rooms, you'll gain 3 on the Emperor track. Likewise, if you complete a blue group of occupied rooms, you'll get victory points per this chart. The red room groups earn you money. Flipping the final red room in a group of 3 earns you 6 krones immediately. The last free action available to you is to place one of your 3 extra wooden discs on a politics card. These cards were laid out at the beginning of the game as ways to earn extra points. If you have achieved the card requirement shown, you can place a disc on it, immediately claiming the points. The first person to do this earns the achievement and will get 15 points. The second person would gain 10 points and the third 5 points. If a 4th player would earn the achievement after the politics card is full, they won't get any points for it. The descriptions of every politics card is described thoroughly in the rulebook on page 10. Check there for the cards that came up in your game. The game ends after the Emperor scoring of the 7th round. Players who played the staff cards showing the in-game icon will now get to score those. Each occupied room will earn points as well. Occupied rooms in the first floor earn 1 point, second floor 2 points, third floor 3 points, and fourth floor 4 points. Each of your leftover food and drink tokens in your kitchen earns 1 point each. And each krone you have left in your money track is also worth a point each. Each guest still remaining in your cafe at the end of the game is worth -5 points. The player with the most points wins. If there's a tie, whoever has the most food, drinks, and krones combined will win. There are a lot of guest cards and staff cards in this game. The rulebook does include a reference page on the symbols you'll find on the guest cards, plus descriptions of many of the staff cards. This is found on pages 13 to 16. However, I found that there are some great reference printouts that fans have made online. They can be found on the Board Game Geek page for the game under Files. I print and use those in my copy. They're alphabetized and show pictures of the cards too. Keep the rulebook handy and check BoardGameGeek.com for FAQs and extra content. Check the video description for links to Board Game Geek, Top Shelf Gamer for token upgrades, and SleeveKings.com for a 10% off coupon on card sleeves. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you found this teaching helpful. Stick around to watch another Learn to Play video. And remember, teach when you can, but always be learning. See you next time.